Well, we're coming up onto the holiday season, Still River, and Black Friday is almost upon us. And, well, Jesus is in heaven with his Father, and he sees everything that's going on, and he thinks to himself, I would like to go down there for a while. And he asks his Father, can I go down and visit? Physically, I'll be there. And his Father looks at him, what a strange request. He says, well, sure. And he goes, there's a lot of people in need down there. So he gives him his super triple titanium no credit limit credit card that's you don't have to pay back. Endless limit. And Jesus shows up down outside the mall. He looks sort of like Kurt Cobain or Brad Pitt, and he walks into the main door and he sees his reflection in the glass and says, I could use a little trim or a haircut and a beard trim. So he walks into the hairstyle salon near the entrance, and he goes to the girl at the counter. I like a haircut and a trim, sure. And he walks in, he sits down, and he takes his cap off. He's got like a baseball cap. I don't know if it has a B on it or a New York. And he takes it off, and she starts trimming. And he's saying, gee, there's an awful lot of people here. She goes, well, it's Black Friday, And he goes, oh. And, so it's hard to make ends meet. The economy's really not doing that good. It's sort of up sometimes a little bit, then slides back down and it comes up and everything. And they're talking about that. And, she's talking about, he goes, well, how are you doing? She says, oh, pretty good, though. I'm very worried. I've been to my doctor a couple weeks ago, and I've been feeling very tired and exhausted, and I don't feel good. My appetite isn't good, and they're running a lot of tests. And I went to them, and they did some preliminary tests, and he said that they're going to have to run more extensive testing, and it's going to take a while because they did see some anomalies, and he's hoping that there are anomalies, and she is, which caused her to worry even more because she has two, little girls, both of them, one's 3 and one's 5, and her husband works and she works, and they're just barely making ends meet in the mortgage payments, and all this worries on her. And he's going, well, that sounds really, really tough for you, yeah. And he goes, so she finishes his hair and his beard, and she looks in his eyes, and he has these eyes that are like indescribable. They go right through you, but they don't go through you. They touch something in you, and something jumps inside her. She doesn't quite know what's happened. She's thinking maybe she's having some kind of reaction or a hot flash. And she hands him the slip for the bill, and his finger touches hers. And he says, you have a very blessed holiday season. I hope everything works out. And this warmth goes shooting through her. She's thinking she's going to faint, but she doesn't. And he stands up and smiles at her and gives her a $5 tip. Starts walking out slowly, and she's staring at him. And her mind can't understand what's going on, And, as soon as he leaves, she starts feeling incredibly better. And she's like ravenously hungry. And she feels good. She feels energy. And he walks down, and there's a bunch of, you would call mall rats hanging out, with the extremely super tight jeans you have your super low with your butt crack showing, and the girls have their pierced belly buttons sticking out, and very tight shirts and chartreuse and green, day-glow green hair, and the kids got nose piercing and the Smurf-like knit hats. And they're kind of looking grim, hanging out. One kid's got a leather jacket on, kind of messed up, with a big hand-drawn skull and crossbones on the back. And over it says, "I'd rather be dead." And he walks up to him, and he sees these two security guards kind of peeking around the corner at this crowd of about 6 kids. And they got, one of them's got a skateboard in his hand, and another one's they all got earphones on, and they're kind of, every once in a while, one of them will yell out a scream of "oh my God" or something, and the security guards would jump and pick up their two-way radios and start talking. And he walks up to them and he says, "Listen," he goes, "they're watching you, the security guards. They're getting ready to call, bust you or whatever they're going to do. Here's $10. Go down to the food court or down to Starbucks or wherever and get something, So they look at him really strange, because he doesn't yell at them or sneer at them, even though they look like they're in a constant state of sneer. And so he walks on, and they're watching him. And the security guards are back there, and they call for backup, and they're following. Now you got this little retinue going down the mall, and there's a toy store there, KB's or Toys R Us, and there's, a man with a cap on and blue jeans and work boots, and his wife. You could tell that they're not well-to-do, and a little boy in a stroller about 2.5, and a little girl about 3.5 or 4, and they're holding hands, and they're looking in the window, and the girl's looking at this doll that she wants, that does everything: eats, poops, talks, sings, and makes requests for clothes, whatever. And the boy's looking at this super transformer toy thing that transforms into cars, trucks, planes, and robots. And they're pointing, and the little boy's crying, he wants it. And the dad's saying to the little girl and his wife, "I'm sorry, we can't get this. I just don't have the money. I got laid off 2 weeks ago." And and Jesus is standing about 8 feet away, and he hears this. So he walks up and he goes, "Hi," and he goes, "I see your kids really want those toys. Let me do you a favor. No strings attached." He says, "Wait here a second." He goes in there, and takes out his triple titanium no limit credit card, buys the toys, brings them out to them. He said, "No strings attached. Have a wonderful holiday, and have a blessed holiday season, and Merry Christmas." And they're like aghast. And the other crowd, the kids and the 4 security guards now, are seeing this, and it's causing this little crowd to go down the main drag of the mall, and they get to the center, and they're calling for backup. Other people are seeing this and wondering what's going on. Is this some kind of parade or some kind of, what's going on? And Jesus walks down to the other end of the mall on the left, and there's a McDonald's on one side and a Burger King on another, and a big carousel, with a big old guy in a ticket booth with the suspenders and the dirty white shirt and a floppy hat and the smudgy glasses, selling tickets. And he's trying to explain to 2 parents, there's a big line. All the little kids want to go on the carousel. "Listen, I only can sell tickets for the ride that's happening now. I can't sell you tickets for the afternoon. It's ride by ride." And Jesus walks up and says, "Hey, how about if you just keep the carousel running, every ride, unload and load, I'll buy all the tickets you have for the day." And he gives him the card. The card goes through. The guy is amazed. He hands him the roll of tickets. Jesus starts handing them out through the line. He just says, "Keep it running, stop and let more people on. Just let them on." And he starts running it, and people are aghast. They all got free rides on the carousel, and kids are on there, and toddlers and parents. And about the fifth or sixth ride, you know, the carousel's crowded with kids, with sodas and burgers and popcorn and cotton candy and whatever, and some parents, and it's crowded. And Jesus gets on, and he walks and he sits down on one of the benches, and toward the center there's two little kids there, a little boy and a little girl, about 6 or 7, and the carousel starts going really fast because downstairs, for some reason or other, the breaker blew, and the current isn't limited going to the motor driving the carousel, and it's going way faster than it should. And kids are screaming and laughing, and the parents are wondering what's going on, and it's going around and around. By this time, you know, Homeland Security was called, the fire department was there because the alarm went off because the breaker blew. And on the other side, over towards the other end, directly across the carousel, there was a choir putting on a Christmas carol sing-along